Welcome on in, boys and girls. This is the NAIAFBALL live show powered by Adcraft, custom apparel and merch. Your experts in apparel, merch, and uniform since 1974. Man. Well, I'll start this way. You'll notice I'm using the solo shot tonight. Matt is off on assignment, so we'll solo it tonight. It'll be fine. If you got anything to say, drop it in the chat. I'm keeping my eyes on the chat, of course. Mr. Lee Robertson giving his squad some love from the Orange City, Iowa team. So, heck, let's jump right into it with our reviews. Indiana Wesleyan, St. Francis. You know, early in this game, it was a very... Oh, man. There were some scary moments in that game, especially when you're talking about Dadarian Williams having to go to the hospital. That's, you know, if you're an Indiana Wesleyan fan, that's not exactly what you were hoping to see there, but you do get the dub over St. Francis. And you get it in blowout fashion, too. You're able to hold Garrett Yoon to 11 for 33 for 103 yards. Your defense gets after it. 2 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, a forced fumble, 4 pass breakups. Your wide receiver has a heck of a game in Williams' absence. 10 receptions for 233 and 3 touchdowns. That's going to do it for you every time there. And, man, that puts Indiana Wesleyan definitely in a good spot. We'll get to it later. They got a couple more to get through, but they've got a chance to have a really good setup for the playoffs. We did have one upset this week. Olivet Nazarene upsets receiving votes. St. Francis 35-7. This one was never in doubt. I believe Olivet got out to a 21-0 win, or a 21-0 lead rather. You don't see the normal quarterback for St. Francis, Illinois, haven't for a couple of weeks. Carl Bew in his absence, 7 of 19 for $156. 4 picks is not going to get it done. And Cam Crouch just has to be pedestrian is as much as he has to be. 6 of 11 for 70 yards, 2 touchdowns. Olivet Nazarene 5 of 5 on 4th down conversions. Now, usually we do 3rd and 4th down conversions. I really wanted to highlight those 5 of 5 4th down conversions. Otherwise, Olivet is 5 of 19 overall. So not real great, or 5 of 19 on 3rd down. So not real great on the percentage-wise for both 3rd and 4th down, but that 4th down is huge. Keeping it rocking here. The Hart South, basically the championship game here effectively. Benedictine and Baker. Benedictine takes an early lead, doesn't look back. Gets that 30-6 win. Looks good. Benedictine making the run game pay off. 24 attempts for $158 and 2 scores for Dalton Witherspoon. The defense with 4 sacks, 10 tackles for a loss, 3 forced fumbles. Combine that with Baker's 3 of 13 on 3rd and 4th down conversions. And you can see why I'm putting the kicker up here. Seth Simpson makes 2 field goals, goes 2 for 2, 31 and 41 yards. That's about all Baker had to do. Truman did a great job. 14 and 24 for 129, 14 rushes for 159, but just could not find the end zone, could the Wildcats, and Benedictine has the inside track now on the Hart South. Now, 15 of 24 for Grahamstad for 234 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, has 146 yards on the ground. 53% on your 3rd and 4th downs will get it done every time, and they did a great job limiting how often Morningside could touch the ball. 23 minutes, 55 seconds for the Mustangs. That's going to be hard pressed. Now, I will say this game was very close until Northwestern took over in the second half, but definitely a toughie there, and we'll see where Morningside falls to. A top 15 matchup in the Mid-South. Georgetown snaps Lindsey Wilson's 37-game winning streak when playing inside the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Just an incredible streak, started by Chris Oliver when he started the team and ended by Chris Oliver defeating Lindsey Wilson as he is now the head coach of Georgetown. Georgetown's defense was phenomenal. I mean, otherworldly. Lindsey only got into the red zone once, and they threw an interception. That's why you see the punter over there for Lindsey. 7 punts, 46.3 average, 3 touchbacks, 6 inside the 20. If you do the math again, you're doing a lot of punting from the about that 40 to 40 range. And that's going to be a difficult one. That's not going to win you a lot of games there, unfortunately. Georgetown was good enough offensively to get it done. Darius Neal in the slog there. Garrett Slunaker doing it. 2 bills and a touchdown. It's all he needed. And then out west, we had a matchup between Carroll and Southern Oregon. Carroll comes out on top 21-13, a close game. Both teams, if you look at the box score, it is super close. No one team had an advantage. The biggest thing there is the pick 6 by Daxon Graham. That is the only thing there that separated these two squads. Southern Oregon's having a great season for them. Really happy to see what they're doing. But today's was just not their day. So let's take a look then at how that impacts the media poll. And remember that media poll is designed every week by Connor Darnell Designs, one of the most amazing folks you could work with. If you need any sort of design work, whether you're a school, whether you are an individual, whether you're a recruit looking to break into the NAIA, get with my man Connor, and he will set you up. NAIA born and bred knows what it's like to live that life and to have to do the work. So let's see what that happens. Hey, look, we've got a 3-way tie for 24th. Ties. Love them. Morningside takes a small tumble. Loses 2 spots to number 5. They were tied for 3rd last week. Lindsey Wilson takes a tumble, 9 spots down. I'm sorry, that's not correct. They were down 6. Flip that 9 upside down. You got it right. Baker tumbles 5 spots to number 22. Your big winners, obviously, Georgetown. After getting that, Concordia of Michigan comes up a couple of spots. But mostly, everything else was kind of one of those, they are who we thought they were. You see Evangel, Han Solo's happy that they're no longer in the KCAC, or they're no longer in the Heart, they're in the KCAC, having a lot of success over there. But man, I tell you, it's a good place to be in that top 10, because if you're in the top 12, which Evangel is in the coaches poll, if you can hang on to that, you get a nice first-round bye. But before we get into that, let's take a quick break and hear a message from our friends at Adcraft.
So you want to create and sell custom merch for your team or business. That's exciting, but where do you begin? How much inventory should you order? How do you distribute orders? Adcraft has your answers. Streamline the way you offer custom merch by utilizing our risk-free web store service. We ship directly to each customer, and we have the fastest turnaround in the game. Raise funds for your team or get merch to your employees and patrons. Contact Adcraft today, and let's bring your merch to life.
That is exactly what they do. They are the best in the business. We absolutely adore our friends at Adcraft and are so happy to have them working with us year in, year out. Again, NAI born and bred. We do try to keep as much as we can in the small college realm for who we partner with, because they know this league. They know what you're going through. They know the ins and outs of it. Get with our folks at Adcraft. They'll get you taken care of, whether it's your football team or whether it's your business team. So, now let's take a look at our Telemetry Sports Play of the Week. And it's not a touchdown this time. It's close, but not quite. As Joaquin Collazo of Bethel throws for eight touchdown passes against Faulkner. And we've got one here, one of those, well, not a touchdown pass, but one of his passes, his longest one, a 51-yard dart here to Alonzo Russell. You see him out of the slot, beats his man, just skinny post, and he's not quite able to beat the Faulkner defender to the edge. But my man got up to speed at 18 miles an hour, did a great job there. If you want to see the real numbers, and whether it's in recruiting, whether it is for scouting, man, you need to check out our friends at Telemetry Sports. They are amazing at that. They can get you the information you need, and they do a great job with the footage and are able to turn around that product in a timely manner. We've loved having them be our partners this season. Now, what to watch for? There is so much good football this week. Holy cow. And it starts, Kevin, you are right on the money. It starts in Marion, Indiana, with Indiana Wesleyan hosting Marion, the Knights. This is kind of the decider for the Mid-States, Mid-East. The winner of this one will, they'll take the Mid-East outright. And they'll clinch that playoff berth. St. Xavier plays Olivet Nazarene in a game where St. Xavier can technically drop one, but you don't want to. You want to stay on this winning streak. Morningside tries to make. Oh yeah, IW still has Concordia the following week, but Concordia has lost 2 Mid-States, Mid-East games. So Concordia is eliminated. So even though Indiana Wesleyan has Concordia, if Indiana Wesleyan wins, if Indiana Wesleyan wins, they still take the Mid-East because they'd have that win over Marion and they would have that tiebreaker. So it's still a big game, but it would be nice for Indiana Wesleyan for them to go into that game knowing they've got the Mid-East in hand. Indiana Wesleyan never won there, Kevin says. It's a tough place to play. It's going to be cold. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be another what to watch for sure. Morningside Dordt. Morningside is trying to make the one loss not turn into 2, as they're rooting for a Northwestern loss, but a loss against Dordt would put them in danger of losing that first round bye. You got to get past the defenders if you want to host. Evangel travels to Southwestern. Southwestern has had a rocky season. Started out good, has stumbled as of late. But if Evangel, again, this is a huge matchup for Evangel. Find my spots there. A win versus Southwestern clinches the Kessinger division of the KCAC for Evangel, as they have a 2-game lead over Southwestern. Southwestern wins, they've got to also root for another Evangel loss so that they can take that tiebreaker. And then Carroll is trying to keep the dream alive. They go and play at Montana Western. The Frontier is still wide open. Everyone's chasing College of Idaho. But a loss here for Carroll or Western eliminates them from the Frontier Conference race. So loser goes home on this one. It's the most wonderful time of the year. We start talking elimination. I love it. It's fantastic. Let's take a look at some of the other matchups this week that I'm looking forward to, that will have some bearing, or some that don't, and I'm just going to call them out because they're going to be fun. Dakota Wesleyan secures their first winning season in, if Matt was here, he'd tell me exactly how long. Let's see. So no, he told me. He said it's only been like 6 years. Well, as a reward for that effort, you get to go host Northwestern. Dakota Wesleyan trying to slay a giant and introduce some chaos into the field. Let's see here. What other ones? Texas Wesleyan at Langston. Langston's always a good team. Stumbled. We'll see how they are health-wise. They lost some quarterbacks and offensive linemen in the game against Ottawa this week. So we'll see how that goes. Dickinson State can clinch with a win against Valley City State at 4 p.m. Eastern. Concordia plays at St. Francis. That's always a great grudge match. Kansas Wesleyan, Ottawa of Kansas. Weirdest phrase that I'm going to say all night. Winner of that wins the KCAC Bissell division. You got me. How Ottawa has lasted this long, I still haven't figured that one out. So, then let's take a look. I've got a couple of things for us tonight that I'm going to swap over here. Let's see if we can blow this up a little bit so it's visible. Matt coming in with the chat. He knows it. First time since 2017. Jamin Aaron, all-time leading rusher. With their win at Jamestown. Love it, love it, love it. Yeah, no. Hans, you're 100% right. The Valor defense has been really, really good. It's been a Hart-style defense, which is a little bit better on average than a KCAC defense. It's proved really good for Evangel. Now, Friends is still a good squad. They're kind of on the outside of making it. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a look at let's see if I can make this a little bigger by nuking. Haha. Yeah, the ribbon there. All right, the AAC. Reinhardt still has a couple of games left to play, so they cannot clinch. No, I think they can, because if they win here, then they would not get that other loss by U-Pike, or that U-Pike needs. So a win at Kentucky Christian gives Reinhardt the AAC. In the Frontier, College of Idaho controls their own destiny. They have a bye week this week, I think, if I remember correctly. Yes, they have a bye this week. So, effectively, College of Idaho has to have a loss at Southern Oregon to have any chance whatsoever You've got to have some chaos here for Montana Tech to get back into it. Montana Tech is that one loss from College of Idaho. So a loss from College of Idaho puts Montana Tech in, as long as they win, gives them a chance with a tiebreaker, which the Frontier tiebreakers are insane. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. GPAC. Oh, thanks, Roger. The GPAC. Northwestern now has that 1-game lead over Morningside. Northwestern just needs to win out. A win against, let's see here, a win against Dakota Wesleyan pretty much puts it on ice. Because let's take a look and see. Let's pull up Northwestern's schedule real quick. Yeah, so you need a Northwestern. You need 2 Northwestern losses, actually. Sorry, for Morningside. So you need a win against Dakota Wesleyan clinches Northwestern the GPAC. So there's another one that can clinch this week. Hart North. Grandview has a 1-game lead over Peru State and William Penn. Peru's loss is to Grandview. Grandview has 2 games remaining, one against William Penn, one against Clark. So a win over William Penn gives Grandview a 1-game lead plus a tiebreaker with 1 to play. So that at least clinches them a slice of the pie, but effectively they'll win that division there. The South. Benedictine takes that 1-game lead over Baker. Benedictine will be able to control their own destiny. They play at Missouri Baptist, and I think, if I remember correctly, that they also play Mid-American Nazarene. They do, on November 11th. So technically this one will not be over until November 11th, unless Mid-American Nazarene ends up dropping their game at Moval. If Mid-American Nazarene loses to Moval and Benedictine wins on Saturday against Missouri Baptist, that would win Benedictine the Hart South title. KCAC Bissell Division. Kansas Wesleyan is up 2 with 2 to play. A win against Ottawa, who they play this week, wins them that division. In the Kessinger, Evangel controls their own destiny. A win versus Southwestern wins it for them. Southwestern needs some work. Georgetown putting in the work. They got the win versus Bethel and versus Lindsay. So both of those need Georgetown to crumble, plus take care of business down the stretch. But a win versus Cumberland's wins Georgetown the Mid-South. Mid-States Mid-East, winner of the Indiana Wesleyan Marion game, takes it home. Mid-States Midwest is going to have to, they're going to have to wait till next week. Roosevelt at 4-0 has 1 game left against St. Xavier. St. Xavier has 2 games left on their docket. Olivet Nazarene and Roosevelt. That one's going to have to wait. If St. Xavier loses, they could still get it via tiebreaker if they won the next week at Roosevelt. So that one will be decided in 2 weeks. North Star. Dickinson State wins versus Valley City. If Valley City happens to win this week, we'll start talking tiebreaker scenarios in the North Star. Sooner. Tex West just needs to win out. They have a 1-game lead over Louisiana Christian and Ottawa of Arizona. They also have a tiebreaker against Ottawa of Arizona. A Tex West win this week eliminates Ottawa of Arizona. Louisiana Christian and Texas Wesleyan play the 11th of November. And so that one will decide that one there. And then finally in the Sun, Kaiser's just gotta win out. St. Thomas is needing a Kaiser loss. Kaiser and Florida Memorial play on November 11th. So Kaiser wins. Kaiser's got to win both games. They do have to win out. Flomo's got a really good team this year, guys. I've been really impressed with Florida Memorial. Does Friends have a path in the Kessinger? Okay, so, all right, let me see here. Ottawa and Louisiana Christian both win out, forces a three-way tie. Yeah. Yes. But you got to win out. And it's point differential. That's super fun. Does Friends have a path in the Kessinger? I don't think so. Let me pull this back down and get this out of the way here real quick. Let's go ahead and I'm going to pull over this so I can actually pull the KCAC standings for you. Now, what's really odd, KCAC is the only one that does this. Oh, they changed this. Yesterday they had, this is, okay, so this is going to be wrong. What I just said is going to be wrong because when I looked at this on Sunday, they had the KCAC standing here and here. So, let's do some live looking. All right. You know what? Let's start in. Okay, so the Bissell division is as I thought it was. Both those teams are 3-0. Whoever wins that game takes the cake. All right. That much is clear. All right. Evangel. Let's take a look at this at the schedule. They have Southwestern and Bethel. So they have 2 games remaining. They can eliminate Bethel straight up. Southwestern can play upset. So Evangel's got to lose twice for Friends to get the auto bid. Because if they lose twice, if Evangel loses twice, then it's Friends and Bethel. If they both win out, that would have 1 loss. Friends beat Bethel, so Friends would take the auto bid. So you are rooting for Southwestern this week and Bethel next week, but it is really outside looking in for Friends right now. It's not great. Now, that being said, thoughts of a Sooner team getting an at-large bid. All right, let's take a look at this. All right, remember what the NAIA has done. It is a good thing what the NAIA has done, but it's just different. All right, here's the poll from today. Actually, I'm going to see if I can Yeah, make it bigger. All right, cool. Okay, so so all 13 divisions and conferences get an auto bid. So, rank doesn't really matter here in the corner where I'm blocking it. So let's go through it here and let's call probable auto bid versus at large, and let's see how this works. Northwestern, probable auto bid. Grandview, probable auto bid. Indiana Wesleyan, Marion, one of them's getting an auto, one of them's getting a at large. So with that, you have, so it's a 20-team field. If you have 13 guaranteed auto bids, then you have 7 guaranteed at-larges. So that's 6 now with one of Indiana Wesleyan Marion. Morningside at number 5. That makes 5. Kaiser's got an auto bid. College of Idaho's got an auto bid. Georgetown's got an auto bid. Bethel, at large, makes 4. Evangel, auto bid. Lindsey Wilson. I don't. This is one to watch. They play Bethel this week, obviously, as we saw. Is it this week or is it next week? No, it's next week. It's next week those two play. That late game there may end up hurting Lindsey Wilson. So, but as it stands, there is 4. 3 with Carroll, 2 with Montana Western, auto bid, auto bid, auto bid. St. Thomas, 0. Right now, Ottawa of Arizona is the first team out, according to what the NAIA is saying. Now, here's what could happen. One of Carroll or Montana Western takes a tumble. You're rooting for chaos there. Remember, the auto bids are guaranteed. Even if you're south of 20, looking at you, Reinhardt. If you're south of 20, you still get in. So there's no last-minute politicking like we saw last year to get someone up in the top 20. I like it because it's a larger field, but I feel like there's not as much intrigue as to who's getting in. I feel like it's going to come down to St. Thomas and Ottawa of Arizona. And to me, if I am in the room, I say, okay, well, St. Thomas has a win over Texas Wesleyan. St. Thomas did not look lost against Carroll. Both games were away. I'm giving St. Thomas the edge. Even at 6-3, I'm giving St. Thomas the edge. So I don't think another Sooner team is going to be able to make it, which is unfortunate. So that's the way that looks now. One of the other things I want to pull up that I'm sort of keeping it up on the back burner. This is a comparison of the SP Plus rankings of teams from last year to this. And just taking a look at some of the teams that have underperformed in the case of Avila. Kansas Wesleyan has underperformed, even though they're still on top of the KCAC in their division. Midland's underperformed. Sagu has underperformed. Arizona Christian, I think that's more of a case where that was a little too high at that 29. Yeah, the KCAC has ended up a mess. College of Idaho has really come on strong this year. Louisiana Christian, Evangel, obviously I think that the change did them good. Langston's been a vastly improved team. A couple that I want to talk about. Friends, a 32-point difference there. Southern Oregon, a 22-point difference. Campbellsville. We haven't talked about Campbellsville all year long. They're having a pretty good season. Florida Memorial, 31-spot jump from last year. These are some of the teams that as we go into the off season, as we look that direction, that we will be really kind of working with and talking about and analyzing those teams that vastly outplayed their 2022, and see if they're pulling what I call a Dakota Wesleyan, where you have a ton of fifth-year seniors. and you're doing really good, and I hope for their sake that they've done a really good job of recruiting. Or if it's something like we saw with St. Thomas, where they're over time they're consistently playing better and better and better, and they're getting there. We'll take a look at that in the offseason, but that's part of the fun of the offseason to me, is looking at that. And then obviously we'll rerun our numbers on who had the best division, the best conference in the NAIA last year. But to tell you who is the best, those are our patrons. Absolutely. Love these guys to death. Week in, week out, they are there for us. And they are DSU Cone, Bob Boone, Roger Meyer, Jeremy Vobble, Shirley LaBella, Fred Christensen, Jerry Quickle, Ace Wellen, Marty Seabolt, Nick Ryan, Hayden Freno, Kyle Gregory, Tyler Pierce, Justin Hoffman, Steve Speakman, Brian Shake, Julianne Shager, Nate Soapbeer, who I know is happy, Stephen Cutler, Julie Lout, Tim Burrow, Dale Norton, Nathan Moore, Dylan Gonzalez, Ryan, Jason Crawford, Zach Reiher, Dustin Wilkie, and Charles A. Flowers. Sign up at patreon.com/NAIAFBall as a paid member. Now, Patreon has free members. Paid members are the only ones that are going to get their names on the list. And as we get into the playoffs, we will resume our watch parties through the playoffs, where I will be here watching football and talking all through the game. Have a live chat going on YouTube, and we'll just sit and watch football. And that will be a whole lot of fun. So, if you got any comments, now's a perfect time to leave them in the chat. It's a great chance for us to chat about what's going on, what y'all have thoughts on. Steven, I'm going to pick at that for a second. Say the Sooner is always more deserving than the KCAC. Let's see if that is a correct assumption. Let's go to our preseason live show. Let's see. Let's pull it up here. See if I can find it. We did a complete. There we go. Nope, wasn't that one. Which one was it? It was the Sun Live show, I think, then. We did a ranking with SP Plus about who was the best division, who was the best conference in NAI, and so by a very simple metric, I can put my 2 cents in on this. I think the KCAC was better together than they were apart. Being apart lost them points in how close the teams were together. Let's see. Come on. You can do it. There we go. So overall, the Sooner was actually the worst conference in football last year. They were 10th in average SP Plus, which is an opponent adjusted and usually pace adjusted metric. That's why we like to use it. And they were the worst by standard deviation, which is my way of being able to tell you how close the top is to the bottom and throughout, who's got, we may not have the top end talent, but all our teams are super close together. Wasn't that case in the Sooner. And so the Sooner ended up actually the worst conference in football, in NAI football last year. Have a good chance to have it not be that way this year. With 3 teams doing really, really well, with Ottawa, with Louisiana Christian, with Tex West. But you've got to contend with that bottom part. Whoop, went over my 30 minutes. You got to contend with that bottom part of the Sooner there with Texas College and Wayland Baptist, and this year Sagu, which is not doing great. So yes, an at-large is going to be on the outside looking in for LCU, because LCU is not even in the top 25. You got to beat Tex West. You got to get that auto bid. And yes, you've got to have Ottawa of Arizona lose, which they only have one game, and that's Oklahoma Panhandle State. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you that's going to be a bit of a toughie for you. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. But look, it has been a phenomenal season for Louisiana Christian. I have been so impressed with Louisiana Christian. They've gone from being like this sneaky good team who could beat some Sooner teams on any given day, especially if they were at home, into being a legitimate Sooner contender. Like I said, I've been very pleasantly surprised by LC this year. Langston was more likely to beat Ottawa, and Ottawa had so Langston had like 2 pick sixes in the second half. They had like 2 quarterbacks hurt and a few offensive linemen. They just did not. Langston just did not have any luck whatsoever. Because they did keep it close for a half, but injuries and pick sixes will do that for you. But I'll put in a plug for me. If you want to hear the last game of my calling season for conventional men's football, tune in on YouTube to TU, Thomas University Nighthawks, or go to the Sun Digital Network and find me. As I call Thomas's first homecoming and first senior day game against Florida Memorial. That game will be at noon Eastern. I would agree, Hans. The KCAC didn't set up the 2 divisions. We thought they did. We thought it looked fine in terms of how they set it up. But there's some underlying problems, I think, there, and I'm not going to get into that too much. But we'll see. You might have to re-meander those divisions, because I don't think they were across any sort of geographical lines. Yeah, no, Alex, you're right. That is more than likely it. Hey, football's a game of inches. Sometimes that's just how it is. Yeah, barring some miracles, yeah. I don't think the KCAC set these 2 divisions up again along any sort of geographical lines. So I think that they kept themselves open to maybe in 2 or 3 years, like redoing the divisions. And I think that may end up helping them. Yeah, but no, the Heart is absolutely a stronger a stronger conference in every sense of the word. Both the Heart North and Heart South were tied for 4th. The North or the South had a better average SP plus, but the North was better top to bottom last year. So the Heart's definitely the stronger conference, and unfortunately, it historically has been. Now, do not get me wrong. The KCAC has done a lot of good work over the last 5 years in making their division better. When I came into this in 2018, you had the KCAC, the Sooner, and the North Star that were absolutely just laughing stocks of the NAIA. The KCAC is no longer a laughing stock. I don't think the other two are either, but they're definitely in show me territory. Obviously, the North Star is going to show themselves right into the Frontier Conference, and that'll take care of that. But the Sooners got to find a way. Sooner has got to find a way to win a game or two. Here's your problem. Your best team is sitting at 16th, so more than likely, the Sooner is going to have to go play somewhere. They'll probably Tex West will probably host top 12. If top 12 teams get a bye, that cuts off at about Carroll, leaves 13 through 20 or so there, and then put Reinhardt where Ottawa of Arizona is. So 13, 14, 15. Let's see, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you're looking at maybe another, I don't know that they would repair Tex West and St. Thomas. My guess would be that they would try to pair up Tex West with someone like a Dickinson State or a Benedictine or something like that, because you still got to get the mileage. The mileage rules in the NAIA, the 800 miles or whatever, that you got to keep it within. But yeah, no, I definitely think the KCAC needs to rebalance in a year or two. A team like Ottawa should not be sitting here at like 4-4 and be like 4-0 in their own division and fighting for a spot. It's absurd. All right. Anyway, keep a watch out. We're going to try to do better on being on social media, being around Instagram and the Meta social media platforms. Apparently, we get a lot of eyes there too, and I've been missing those. So if you want to join us, patreon.com/NAIFBall. Join our Discord. If you join our Patreon, I'll shoot you a link to the Discord. You can join, and you can just ask, folks like Roger. That is the playground for just sitting around and chatting and talking NAIA football. Yeah, Sooner should try to get East Texas Baptist and some of those teams and go to a 2-division look. That way you get 2 teams in automatically. I completely agree. That's going to be, I think, a problem of money, more so than anything else. Got a prediction for the big game: Indiana Wesleyan versus Marion. I'm going to go. I'm okay. I am going to go with Marion, and I'm going to tell you why. You're probably missing Darian Williams. That is the heart and soul of that squad. It's a good back, and I think without Darian Williams, Marion's going to be able to keep control of the football. When Marion can keep control of the football, Marion can win the game. Now, would I be surprised if Indiana Wesleyan said, "To heck with that, we're going to chunk the ball. We're going to make Marion have to keep up with us points-wise"? Would I be shocked? No. Yeah, no, he was definitely back on the sideline, but my man went to the hospital. I do not expect him to play next week. I mean, did all right without him. you can be smiling, you can be being yourself, but you got some good drugs running through you too. Hans, we appreciate you. Um, it is. I love talking football, and this has been a great chance for me to do it and to find a great community of people that love football as much as I do. That are kind of the sickos like myself who love small college football. Yeah, no, Kevin, you're right. IW defense has forced a ton of turnovers. You're going to have to do that against Marion. You're going to have to force them into mistakes, and you're going to have to get the ball into your hands. Otherwise, Marion is going to sit there and say, "You're not taking the ball away from us." So, yeah, no, I love the comments. Comments are great for engagement on YouTube. The algorithm just eats that up. So that's why I love to encourage comments. Comments, man, comments are the lifeblood of any channel. Yeah, hope it didn't jinx them. Well, I have been known to be a impending doom for people I pick. So who knows? But until next time, next week we'll talk about it and we'll look at this again. Next week will be our last week before our live show, our bracket watch along. So keep it locked here. And until then, we'll see y'all on the timeline.